surging popularity of health-conscious beverages, PepsiCo is set to acquire Poppi, a prebiotic soda brand, for approximately $2 billion. This acquisition underscores the shift in consumer preferences away from traditional sodas and towards healthier alternatives. Poppi, known for its apple cider vinegar-based formula and low sugar content, has rapidly gained traction, even making waves with Super Bowl ads. However, the company faces a lawsuit challenging its health claims, adding a twist to this high-profile deal. The acquisition is pending regulatory approval, and financial incentives tied to Poppi's future performance are part of the agreement. This deal signals PepsiCo's strategic investment in the burgeoning prebiotic soda market, a sector also being eyed by rival Coca-Cola, leading us to the next story about changing loyalties among consumers. Once a beacon of progressive values, Tesla is facing a backlash from some of its early adopters. Driven by CEO Elon Musk's increasingly visible political leanings and association with conservative figures like Donald Trump, prominent individuals, including Senator Mark Kelly, actor Jason Bateman, and musician Sheryl Crow, are publicly ditching their Teslas. They expressed discomfort with being associated with Musk's political stances, viewing their vehicles as a symbol of unwanted alignment. This trend highlights the growing intersection of consumer choices and political ideologies, prompting some to sever ties with the once beloved electric car. This shift in consumer behavior reflects a broader trend of re-evaluating alliances, a theme echoed in our next story regarding Canada's evolving international relationships. Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, is making waves with a diplomatic pivot towards Europe. In a break from tradition, Carney chose Paris and London for his first foreign trip, receiving a warm welcome amidst strained relations with the United States. Citing disrespectful rhetoric and economic tariffs from the Trump administration, Carney emphasized Canada's commitment to its European allies and hinted at reconsidering defense procurement from the U.S., while expressing openness to future dialogue with Washington. This shift in foreign policy comes as Carney prepares to lead the Liberal Party in the upcoming federal election, potentially revitalizing their prospects after a period of declining popularity. This move towards reshaping alliances is occurring as the U.S. faces questions regarding its own executive power, which is the focus of our next report. The Trump administration is facing scrutiny over its assertion of virtually unlimited executive power, particularly regarding immigration enforcement. The controversy stems from alleged disregard for court orders to halt deportations, raising concerns about the administration's respect for the judiciary's role as a check on presidential authority. This tension is highlighted by senior advisor Stephen Miller's argument that the courts cannot limit the president's wartime powers, even when invoked in peacetime under the Alien Enemies Act. This stance has ignited debate about the separation of powers and the potential for executive overreach, especially given the current political landscape. This escalating conflict between the executive and judicial branches mirrors historical trends, which we will examine next. As the Trump administration faces legal challenges to its policies, rhetoric targeting the judiciary is intensifying, drawing parallels to historical instances in other countries, such as Mexico, where populist leaders have undermined judicial independence. Concerns are growing that the U.S. could be next. Supporters of President Trump are echoing arguments that question the authority of judges, particularly in cases involving executive power. Stephen Miller's recent statements on social media reflect this sentiment, raising fears about the future of the judiciary's role in checking executive actions. The implications of this escalating tension could have profound impacts on international relations, especially regarding the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, which we'll examine next. President Trump has announced that negotiations between Russia and Ukraine are focusing on dividing assets, including land and power plants, as part of a potential peace deal. This follows Trump's claim that Ukraine has accepted a U.S. proposed ceasefire, putting pressure on Russia to agree. While the Kremlin has confirmed a planned call between Trump and Putin, their response to the ceasefire proposal remains ambiguous, with Putin demanding concessions from Kyiv. The talks are expected to continue this week, with land concessions being a key point of contention. The situation remains fluid, but this development may